that they feel a great deal of shame over something, whether it be a theft that they have committed, or that they disqualified certain people from their life or from their love because of money, or just that they cheat on their taxes to a significant, or I don't know what it, but I suspect that money is a mother lode of shame that people don't want to reveal. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I mean, I think. Do you know Post Secret? Do you know that website?
No.
Oh, you should go there. It's a really cool website. It's www.postsecret.com, and there's a gallery of postcard-sized postcards. Basically, it's an art project, and the person doing the art project, I mean, they've done a few books now, but he solicited, or he's actively solicits postcards.
Oh, yeah, I have seen this, and where people write the most shameful things.
Yes, and there you actually do get the deeper, sort of more, I don't know what the word is, but you do get the sort of more intense, or maybe more authentic things that people are ashamed about. I mean, I just went to the site, and the first one that came up was, I wish I were attractive enough to cheat on you the way you cheated on me. You know, so things. Yeah. Like, no one can say that to me on the street. I did get some stories that were, I think, you know, the more authentic side.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts on classism and shame? Like, we don't really talk about class in America, while, you know, in Britain it's still a very powerful thing. Do you have any thoughts or senses on the topic of how we discriminate against people on the basis of class?
Sure. I mean, I think in terms of both racism and classism that there's a way in which people tend to personalize. In that, so you know, in the case of the student who wrote the paper I was telling you about, there was a moment where it seems that all of the shame of racism was all in his one personal essay. You know, that makes sense.
Could you say that sentence again? All the what was in his one essay?
Yeah, I don't think that made too much sense. But no, all of sort of. There was a second where, when we were having this class discussion, where he was describing a teacher he had who was a woman of color, and he was describing her skin, and it was the skin description was a little bit out of context. Maybe not getting into too many details about the piece, but. And so it sort of raised some questions, and so we started talking about it. And for some people, they thought, oh, we don't need context. He's writing this piece about, you know, he comes from his background, you know, where his parents are very prejudiced, and so we know what, you know, sort of where this is going. But then other people felt differently, and so there was a moment where we were having this conversation, and that he was sensitive to that, and it just sort of felt like all of a sudden that, you know, that entire that all of the shame associated with racism was all of a sudden, you know, being focused on his personal experience, and so I think that does happen in terms of
How have the people what have been the most interesting reactions you've received, if any, to the book from people you've written about in the book?
People I've written about. People have been really supportive. My mother was really supportive, and that was really nice. I think really. I can't say that I've had a terribly that anyone's reaction has been. I mean, they've all been very loving and supportive.
Got it. No, terribly interesting. No one's lost their temper.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think I think it was hard for my parents to read for sure, but no, nobody did lose their temper. I'm trying to think because sometimes it's funny too that people, the way that people sort of you sort of think that people will not like one thing, but then it's a completely different thing that they end up being offended by, some detail. But I don't even think I've had any of those sort of weird moments.
Got it.
No, everybody's sort of been
supportive.
What?
I said everybody's been supportive.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Boring for me, but good for you.
Sorry, Luke. I'll let you know.
You understand the spirit in which I said it. How do you anticipate this book affecting your life, the publication of this book?
I think right now I'm just really hyper-focused on, I'm doing a lot of yoga. You do yoga as well, right?
Yes, every day.
What kind of yoga do you do?
Kundalini.
Oh, okay. Great. But yeah, so right now, I mean, I'm definitely excited about it coming out. In terms of, I've always thought about the book as its own separate entity. If that makes sense. So I'm excited to see it come out into the world, and also, I guess, just open to the different ways that people react to it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking about the most.
I'm wondering, based on what you just said, if you could not have written it if you would have understood what the consequences were going to be.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Okay, if you had written it alive to the consequences of how people you would or could be intimate with in the future are going to react to this book, it would have restricted your writing so much that the book would not have been possible. So
you mean romantically?
Yeah, or just any intimate relationship. I mean, anyone who's going to have an intimate relationship, not just, I don't use intimate meaning solely sexual, I mean intimate as in close.
I think I thought a lot about that. I don't, but maybe in different terms than you're thinking. I think, I shared it with the person that I'm in a relationship with right now, and it was a really great experience. I was nervous, of course, because for a lot of different reasons, but it was actually really wonderful. So I guess I sort of have this feeling that if somebody reads the book and they somehow, the other thing about writing is that, it covers a very specific time, but I've changed a lot since then. I'm certainly not the narrator in the book. And a lot of people say that. A lot of my friends who have read it, or people that didn't know me then, will say, gosh, it's funny, you just don't seem like the person in the book. So I think, I think that hopefully the people I'm intimate with will be able to make that distinction. There's a book narrator, and then there's a living, breathing person who wrote the book based on personal experience. I think there's definitely a distinction to be made.